registration, and Jojo, we are online. It's all yours.
Okay, so welcome to round 3 results for the 2023 SpaceChem tournament. This puzzle is called Acid Synthesis, and the idea of this puzzle was to have quite a large production symbols puzzle, where the idea was that you'd have fewer reactors than you would maybe like, so you would have to do some tricks to get around that issue. The main one I had in mind was people routing just different element or different compounds down the same pipe and being careful about the ratios. And the reason why I wanted people to do this, because I thought it was a good way to encourage solutions that really relied on optimizing the puzzle as a whole rather than making any specific reactor a particularly difficult task. So that was kind of the idea of the puzzle. Yeah.
Okay, so
I also gave you 2 different reactors that you could choose from: the nuclear reactor and the bonder reactor. The nuclear reactor has
just give me a second, because I have unbalanced oil. Okay. So, sorry. As you were saying, these are the reactors?
Yeah, the bonder reactor has 6 bonders and 4 sensors, so if you don't need to use nuclear, this is what you want to be using. The extra bonders give you a lot more freedom in how you path, because you can have more bonding stations and more powerful bonding stations, and having 4 sensors is very strong for fitting complex logic into your reactor. Then the nuclear reactor, alternatively, only has 4 bonders and 2 sensors, so it's not a bad reactor, and you definitely need it if you want to do nuclear stuff. But overall, you can do much more simply with the extra resources in the bonder reactor if you manage to be able to use that.
Okay, so talk a bit about the numbers. This is technically doable in 2 reactors.
Yes, technically doable in 2 reactors, though the ratios are awful. It would probably involve a good solution that does it. Would most likely involve some sort of hydrogen grinding to basically turn everything into a stream of hydrogen, so you don't need to worry less about the awful ratios.
Yeah, you may also not do it with these pipes. I have no idea which of the current arrangement is.
Yeah, it would have to be something like that, and it would be a struggle. So no one did that.
Yeah, thankfully, and this is because the metric for this puzzle is.
The metric is just symbols, no reactor penalties, just plain symbols.
Okay, let's get this started. Let's just mention that the ties are broken by cycles.
Yeah.
Because this will be relevant. Ominous foreshadowing. And solution.
With Astro Nelson's solution, could you go to a reactor in the bottom left?
Sure. This does things.
So Astro Nelson starts with quite a complicated reactor. A strange thing about Astro Nelson's solution as a whole, I'll talk about quickly, is that everything comes out in the exact ratio. There's no waste at all. There's no filling up big pipes. There's no waste balls, and all the outputs are made 1 to 1 to 1 to 1, which is really impressive, but not necessary for a symbols puzzle.
I mean, this is the way SpaceChem is meant to be played. You know, everything is in perfect ratios, everything comes out indefinitely. This is the way you should do.
It's the way you should do, but it adds a lot of complexity for this puzzle, and Astro Nelson suffered a little bit doing that.
Yeah.
So could you restart?
I can see the complexities can be clearly seen. I find it a little bit weird that the molecule is broken here when it could be broken like around here and simplify.
as far as I can tell, there's no reason that needs to be done. Because if you start again, you'll see. What that does is it just breaks it, and then it goes and individually places all those 4 hydrogen atoms where they need to go, whereas you could just spin around and cut them off one by one in a loop.
Yeah, okay.
And repeat the same. But yeah, so what this reactor's doing, I've more set up about the other one. Could you quickly go back to the first reactor?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So what this is doing is it's first chopping off some nitrogen, some hydrogens, and then putting a nitrogen through. So it puts 3 hydrogens through the bottom one and a nitrogen. Then it fuses up to neon and begins to split hydrogens out one by one from neon. And why it does that is just to, I think, get the ratios right, because Ashley Nelson has horrible ratios to deal with. They need to go by everything with hydrogen. So if you see that big flip-flop counter in the bottom right, that's what handles the ratios. So that's actually 2 flip-flop counters basically put on top of one another. The flip-flop counter, that's the 3 at the bottom, plus the one directly above it. Yeah, that one. That forms a 10 counter. So that's to count 10 hydrogens come out of neon.
Okay. And then this is done 2 times, 3 times, 4 times.
Yeah, so this bottom counts to 5, and then at the top you got that top flip-flop counts to 2, so 5 times 2 is 10, that counts as 10, and then the bottom, and then the 2 flip-flops in the bottom right control the output ratios, and they're counting to 4 times 2 from the top flip-flop being 8 to send, and that ends up sending 4 hydrogens to the top for every 7 hydrogens that go to the bottom, because you get 4 plus the 3 that.
Okay, it's
and you get then, so 4 plus 3 is 7.
Let's go on, man.
And you can go on to the top reactor, I think.
So what you're doing here is, okay, this is simpler. This is simpler.
Yeah, this is much simpler. We're just fusing into
sulfur carbon
sulfur,
and then oxygen carbon. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So we will need the sulfur to make the sulfuric acid. And an easy way to do that in one fuse is just to fuse 2 oxygens together, 8 plus 8 is 16. Then that will leave over a carbon, but if you just put it down in the bottom reactor.
Okay, so let's go here.
Yeah. So I think in the end we end up putting a sulfur and an oxygen up, and 2 carbons and an oxygen down.
Okay, and then here we're getting another sulfur.
So
okay.
This.
And we get the chlorine by fusing in, and then I guess we'll pick up 2 more oxygens here. We'll do another hydrochloric acid. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so this is getting the 4 hydrogens from that first reactor. So 2 of those hydrogens will become hydrogens on the hydroxyl groups in sulfuric acid, and the other 2, one will be fused into a sulfur to make chlorine, and the other one will be joined onto the chlorine to make hydrochloric acid. That's how you get those 4 into those outputs.
What's happening here?
What's happening here? This one's a bit complicated. It's not doing too much complicated logic, just quite a complicated construction. It's building all of phenol from base atoms inside one reactor, which is just, most people split it across multiple reactors, which turns out to be a lot more efficient.
It is a thing. I mean, I believe you. I think there is no reason to check. This goes down, and then it goes back, and then it goes down, and then it goes up.
Yeah.
Then it goes down, and then it does the thing, and then it goes down, and then it picks it back up, and it bonds it, and then the other valve does the fucking god.
So both phenol and nitric acid have quite simple core loops. For phenol, you just make a carbon ring. For nitric acid, you have a nitrogen which you spin around and attach oxygens to it. Which red does all that, then it pauses, while blue attaches the hydrogens and does some fixing up at the end.
Things are done. That's great.
Yeah.
Let's move on. This is not fast. This is really not fast.
It's not fast.
Let's find the simplest reactor, which is this one, I think. Yeah, because the simulation goes faster if you're looking at the reactor, and the simplest the reactor is, the faster it goes. 21,000. At 264 symbols, this has an average of over 60 symbols per reactor, which is heavy. But still, congratulations for doing this, because you know you're still lapping everyone that didn't submit at all. So let's go on to let's go on to counterpoint, which has a different arrangement, because here we see this tree chain here instead of having two and two.
And use of the recycler, which means you have less freedom in how you're going to move stuff between reactors, because with this little reactors and this many output pipes, reactor output pipes becomes a resource you have to manage. So Counterpoint chosen to spend one on the recycler, rather than Astrid Nelson, which spent them all inputting into between the different reactors.
Yeah, this doesn't seem extremely unrealistic. Let's say that this one pipe is realistic to put into reactor. Of course, you could have put it into this reactor if you had to do something fancier. But this doesn't sound, too contrived to fit everything in. So let's see. This is just one word. Why?
Yeah, just one more though. Probably the simplicity of making it. But this is doing something a lot of solutions will do, which turns 2 ammonia into a HCl plus 2 hydrogens. We'll see much lower symbol ways of doing this later, but it's a fairly common thing to do.
Okay, this is because the math is nice, and this is small molecule, so fusing it around doesn't sound terrible. I see. Now let's see this one. This is carbon dioxide, and what are we doing? We lop off the oxygens, and we're building.
And we're building a benzene ring.
Oh, I see. We're building a carbon ring. Clear. Let me just understand this. So blue has put an oxygen aside because. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
We use it both as handle and because we do need an oxygen attached to the ring to do the phenol. So may as well.
So red goes around 3 times. Every 3 times red goes around, blue picks up one of the oxygens. One of those oxygens is put in the recycler. The other oxygen is attached to the benzene ring.
Yeah, most of the oxygen is actually brought forward to the middle reactor, which makes the oxygen sticks.
Yeah, so 4 oxygens, the 4 first oxygens we get all put in a big stick and sent straight to the next reactor.
Yeah, and then this is phenol. Clear.
Then we'll get in.
Okay, and then we'll make what essentially is sulfuric acid. Without essentially, it's sulfuric acid, plain and simple.
Yeah, we make sulfuric acid. So.
Okay, and I guess the math works out. So we have phenol, which we output, and then we throw into the last reactor both sulfuric acid and oxygen. Okay.
Yeah.
This looks fairly simple, I think.
Something is nice about this one compared to Astor Nelson is that in the bottom reactor you just have a stream of hydrogens, and they're coming from a reactor that only has one output, or only one output that remains inside the solution. And that means you don't really care about the ratios coming in there. You can have whatever ratios and it will always work.
Yeah, right. And this is extra, right?
That looks extra. I didn't see it myself, and I was...
Right. There is always fun. In something this complicated, I bet we will find many, even if this is a simple puzzle optimization. And it's fine. Like, these things happen. I'm too afraid to take it out, and we'll just go to the next reactor. Even though this seems extra as well. No, it's not.
Yeah, that looks...
And here what we are doing, okay, we need to split one oxygen and make nitrogen hydrogen.
Yes, one oxygen split a hydrogen out to make NH.
This is a classic symbols arrangement of fusor bonder. This is not the classic way to split in symbols though, but I mean it works.
Yeah, in symbols you often find yourself, you split something out or something else. It's a low symbols way of doing it, but it's quite slow. So cycles prefer more complex fusion paths.
Yeah, like this is useful because you usually can put a line back and forth. Like this is not doing that, so it's not low symbols, but the idea is clear. Okay, I think we've seen.
The sulfuric acid, you can just pass them over; they're already made.
And yeah, and of course, because the ratios are unbound, this gets on much faster. Sulfuric acid gets on much faster than anything else, but again, that's not what this puzzle is about. This is clearly the simplest reactor, and we'll wait a bit. $11,000 cycles, 2 times as fast, 10 symbols less. And like, we can check that this arrow is extra, like this. Why did I do this? Come on, you can do it. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go on to Norris SpaceChem. Lucky to get a solve. Yeah, this is not easy.
I think the solve came in today, one of the late ones.
Well, it's not luck though. Like, you guys are just good enough at the game. What we are seeing here is another choo-choo arrangement. I don't know if you've given them names. I will call this the square. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I haven't paid that much attention to that aspect.
Good. This is a square. So, okay, what are we looking at here? This makes water.
Yeah, we're just making water. But we make long water and bendy water. We make 3 times as much bendy water as we make long water.
We make 3 times long and 1 time bendy.
Oh no, 2 times long, 1 time bendy, it looks like.
Okay, I mean, I believe you. Because this is clearly a 3 count. Yeah, sure. And this is actually more similar to water than this is in real life, because water looks more like this, but yeah, let's call this bendy, whatever. What are we looking at next? Like, I think this one should be the simplest. I mean, maybe. So what you're doing here is, okay, we have recycle here, and we are using this to build phenol out of water.
Yeah, so we're splitting a HE out of the oxygen.
Yeah, okay.
To get a...
Yeah, this is not a terrible loop when we use the recycler to throw out the nitrogen. And then let's just see, I guess we trigger red when we have completed the loop, right? Because the sensor triggers.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so red
Red
triggers trans to rotate it. Yeah, and then it will trigger once again when the other block is done, I guess, and yeah, indeed. Come in.
And then they both trigger the oxygen sensor at the top on blue as well, which triggers it to
Yeah, it does some
start
things, but
finishing it.
very close up. Okay, that was understandable. On to the next, carbon dioxide. We split and fuse. Okay, sure.
Yeah. So this solution in general did more nuclear stuff than I was kind of intended for this puzzle. That's
Yeah.
fine. It means you can get away with passing stuff through less complicated piping arrangements.
Okay, I get it. It will make hydrochloric acid out of carbon dioxide and then just pass the dioxide along, and then it recycles this oxygen when no, it's not. It's magnesium.
It's just a way more.
At some point, it will become yeah, okay. Mercury is 80, so I guess this is a garbage ball, right?
Yes, it's garbage ball.
Okay, this is. There is no run forever provision here, so it's fine.
So making
So
yeah, how the fusion path works, if anyone is interested, is it fuses O to C to make Si, then it fuses in a helium, let's say it's out of an oxygen, it's another helium down to make a 2H, which then all of that together makes hydrochloric acid plus a helium waste.
So the way this works here is that I guess these are two very similar half loops, and they get reused somehow. I can tell if it's two pieces of the same loop or different loops though. This is bonding. I mean, it works, guys. It works. I guess the math works out correctly, also because these two are decoupled, so you can have the ratio you want.
Yeah, the ratios are easy here. But when I was designing this puzzle, the reason I chose nitric acid and sulfuric acid is they're quite similar, so you can use a similar loop to make them if you want to use that symmetry. But this solve still makes it quite complicated. And I think the reason why is they don't have either a nitrogen or a sulfur when they go in. They've got to make those elements, which proves to be fairly awkward.
Okay, this is much lower in symbols at 2 or 3, and so, but we are still not at the range where cutting symbols costs you a ton of cycles, so it's still not particularly slow. At 12,000. But next we have Yellow Bunny.
And Yellow Bunny, known for their one water solutions, decided to only make a one water
It just
solution.
makes a one water solution at 200 symbols flat. That's something. What's this? You know, man, with which puzzles you go further and further from what I consider proper SpaceChem puzzles. What's it doing? It breaks up things.
It's making it puts two O's and the hydrogen to go up. As you can, the exact annotations are very clear for this. So it makes two O's and the hydrogen to go up, and it makes HM plus HC to go down, and those are just all the atoms from one of each of the two inputs.
Okay. Next. So these ratios are fixed, and this is kind of important here.
But you can see it's got these long pipes, so it doesn't need to be that good.
Okay, it's not
exact ratios. They need to be close enough, but not.
Yeah, got it. Here we have oxygen and hydrogens, and we make sulfuric acid. Okay, this is. I think there is ResearchNet campaign that wants you to do this, of course in different arrangement, that gives you oxygen and wants to do sulfuric acid. This doesn't sound fun, but I mean it's doable. And here there are the rest of the products that have wrong math, I guess. Yeah, they are in this long pipe. Got it. What do we check out now?
Now we can go to...
Yeah, this one I decide. And okay. And we have
Fine.
oh my god. How do you guys do this?
It took me a while to go through this one. I just have to review my notes.
Yellow Bunny, how do you code this stuff? How do you not get lost? Like, once you've done, say, 2/3 of it, how do you feed the rest?
What they've done is not like most of those C sensors are just to, when it's done, they're just to pass the end out. So I think that's how it feels with being at the end when it's got 2/3, just put the sensors everywhere.
Yeah, I guess that way is not terrible if it's just for that reason, but this sensor also does something normally. But okay, yeah, I get it. This is the sensor you use usually, and then this carbon path is just at the end.
Yeah. So it's a fairly normal way to make these, of build two halves attaching CHs together for the benzene ring structure, and for the nitric acid spin around the nitrogen attaching oxygens. It just does those two, and then all the sensor loop is to handle getting it out at the end and putting up on oxygen that needs to go up to the top.
Okay, so let's just watch it for a moment. This is the extra oxygen for the phenol, and it's done. And then I guess the last reactor is reasonably easy. Bits of phenol, and then okay, picks the rest of the pieces up for an hydrochloric acid. And here it's where it's not precise, so stuff accumulates. Yeah, I see it.
It probably wouldn't be too bad to make it precise though, because the top output is only using things from the top input, and the top bottom input is only using stuff from the bottom output.
Yeah,
so
you would just need, like, if you use it to Waldos, you would just need bottom to run twice or something, and then it would work. Yeah, I see. In any case, great effort with a single Waldo thing, and especially some of the middle reactors. This is still not so slow. It clocks in at 18,000. Not terrible. Next we have Weaver with It Works. I mean, great. And this is not a box. This is a tree. Do you like it? This is a tree.
And the tree ones make the ratio slightly easier to deal with, because you're less likely to get situations where you are stalled waiting on an input that can't output because it needs to input from somewhere else. So you don't end up with loop patterns so much with trees.
Yeah, this is essentially this two are decoupled.
Yes.
So let's see.
And
Okay.
again, it's
We have seen this, but this is done much better.
done much better. It can still be done better than this. This is a big improvement from the last version of this we saw.
And this makes hydrogen and hydrochloric acid. Let's follow the hydrogens, shall we? And we see
Hydrogens simply get made into these
okay, into this
no
else,
H's.
or into this double hydrogen thing when these three counters doesn't come in. Yeah, it makes a lot of J's, and then here it does a different thing.
So
Okay,
that's just taking the COs at the top and then those at the bottom.
The CO is phenol, and I guess we split down an oxygen, right, to get the pieces. Yeah, indeed.
The oxygens are generally split down into hydrogen, and
we make up all the pieces, bond them together, and then output. Yeah, and as usual, Weaver is doing things harder for himself because he doesn't believe in bonded priority. So this is why he doesn't have some square or L of bonders. He has them separated, so he's sure he's not using bonded priority accidentally. Okay, and then this will get on clear. Let's see fields. Here we have nitric acid and sulfuric acid. So this thing here is nearly a nitric acid, just needs an oxygen.
isn't it? But two of those things together confuse. So two nitrogens plus two hydrogens get to sulfur, and then you've got one leftover oxygen, sulfuric acid, from two of those, and then just an oxygen is what's next. It's quite easy to turn into sulfuric acid and very easy to turn into nitric acid.
Very bad. Like nitric is easy to turn into sulfuric. Okay, got it. Let's start seeing where does it uses. This uses a lot of symbols. I guess here, like
Yeah.
even just
It's got some quite complex logic to make this output here. But it's got to grind the hydrogens to make to get hydrogens out of the oxygens, but then one time it's got to keep it.
yeah. Look, this was fast, yeah, but the phenol is much slower because this roughly runs at the rhythm that one carbon is one wall rotation, and this has, let's call it 6 rotations, and like sulfuric acid has 2, nitric acid has just 1. So this is going to be much slower. But it's still not very bad at 27,000. So on to the next. We are entering the top 10. You know, with reasons. Great title, man. Great title. With a square. So, we are doing. We're
First for the hydrogens of the first one, and then for the second one, it's going to make
okay.
these almost swastika.
Yeah, this is the form of the thing, the 15 acid looks like this. I don't remember which atom 15 is, but that one.
Yeah. Sure.
The one after silicon.
So that thing, whatever it is, it looks a lot like nitric acid, just with a few extra hydrogens and a double bond not there.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see it, because yeah, it's going to be. So we.
And then it's very easy to turn that into nitric acid.
Right. Because.
But then we also.
Yeah, because the sum is even, so you have 2 extra hydrogens, and you just need to do some math. Yeah.
Yeah, you have the hydrogens fuse up until the first hydrogen you always fuse in the second one. You then sense if you're out chlorine, and if you're out chlorine, you bond the second one on.
Yeah, there is turning hydrogen into hydrochloric acid is a main campaign puzzle. Yeah, you have other atoms, but for the simple solution you just use hydrogen, so it looks more or less like this. And let's follow the hydrogens, shall we? And what we see here is
the hydrogens are so chopping oxygens off the carbon dioxide, and they're using that to make the SO4 square shape then we just attach 2 hydrogens from the bottom. The remaining COs are attached to hydrogens and put in the bottom output. It's fairly simple here.
Clear. And this sensor here governs how you make sulfur. Clearly.
Yeah.
Okay. And so
Yeah,
then we see.
Whether you made sulfur yet or not.
Sorry.
In the next one. That sulfur, that just tells you whether you've made sulfur yet or not.
Yeah. And here we have final building. And okay, this is a great building block. We just throw out stuff we don't need.
Yeah, throughout the options most of the time. It's kind of weird in that it makes it in pairs.
Yeah.
It is. You can make it in pairs. I tried it originally in my test solve and I found it much more awkward to do than just make it in sets of 3. But that's what Resumes has chosen to do.
Yeah, also because this doesn't fit, so it needs to rejigger it.
Yeah, and then
yeah, I just can feel it that you got this and you're like, I'm not reworking everything, I'll just patch it up. Yeah. Seen it.
we've got a hate set on this.
So yeah, this get to 1H2, and we are seeing, aside from initial solution, some steady pace of 10, 10, 10, and now we are ready for some bigger jumps. So say up until now it's getting steadily better, but now we will rapidly get into the very good stuff. And here, why is hydrochloric acid so slow? Oh yeah, because it's made out of excess hydrogen, so it will take ages.
We don't need to wait.
Let's get one. I mean, it's not terrible. Come on, he made it. Let's run it to completion. There will be one we will skip later because it takes too much, but this one is fine.
Yeah. So for Darius, I know Darius wanted us to have a run forever rule, and the only way I could think of to check a run forever rule was to have it run for some large number of outputs. And this is basically the reason why I didn't want to do that, because it would take me a long time to re-verify it, and I'd need to do that fairly often to keep on track of it.
Oh, you could just use SpaceChem. You make a puzzle with a ton of inputs, with a ton of outputs. Periodically download the solutions and give them to SpaceChem against the puzzle with a lot of outputs. Leave your computer on for 3 hours. You came back and check. Like,
yeah, I guess
the machines can work for you, and if there is something you want the machines to check, the machines can reasonably check it. I may have to help them, but we can get the machines to do the work for you. Though I don't think it was so necessary, because I mean, it's a simple solution, so making waste ball costs you symbols. And I may be verifically wrong because I haven't seen the top solves, but they will tend to be not terribly wasteful, I guess.
So. Darius is saying, wouldn't it be obvious? In most cases, yes, but I've done this for long enough to know that people are always trying to find some way around the rules, whatever they are. So I've definitely had solves that will run for say 40,000 cycles.
Yeah,
and then suddenly crash. That's more happens with random stuff, but I didn't want to bake in the possibility for someone to find a weird loophole.
Yeah, here there is no random stuff, but like you always risk it with let's call them magic hat parts, where reactor outputs a lot of things, another reactor outputs a lot of things, and then a third reactor pull them into a continuously running loop, and you risk that depending on clogging, something will get out of sync, and it may take hundreds of thousands of cycles for the bad things to happen. Like if you could run it for 10 million cycles, you would be sure, because a SpaceChem solution will loop unless it has a billion flip-flop in like 10 million cycles, but to 100,000 you are still risking it. So let's see, this is a, what is this? Okay, this is a line. Do you like it? Like, you don't have to like my name, so you're kind of forced to, because this is first, this is second, this is third, and this is fourth. We have a, and each time we pass the reactor, we dump one output. So one here, one here, one here, and then here we dump to a recycler. I like the symmetry. I have to tell you.
A neat thing about this is that you don't have to care about making waste. You won't make waste. The only reason this needs a long pipe is for timing. It doesn't need it to. If it could time better, it would run forever with a short pipe.
Oh, let's see. So this makes nitric acid by just packing NH and then fusing it if it's needed. Okay, clear. And then we put out hydrogens.
Not hydrogens.
Yeah, we have seen many variations of this. Here we make, hydrochloric acid. We have also seen many variations of this, and so we have a very, very slow stream of hydrogens going up.
Yes, but because of how you're making nitrogen, you have a slightly weird output ratio of what's going in the pipe to the bottom, but the two different hydrogens are used by two separate waldos that don't care at all about each other's timing. So it doesn't matter that whatever ratio you're getting, it's not one in the top square, one in the bottom square. Sometimes one of them's missed.
Oh no, it's just.
But it doesn't care at all.
So here, we see a similar construction we've already seen, where this makes OCH and then the other one makes sulfuric acid. This was Weber, I think. This is the cross sulfuric acid. Yeah, this is something you don't see very often. It's used in some going green top solutions. This shape here. Yeah.
Similar thing of making the SO4 first, then putting the hydrogens on. I think it's pretty much the same algorithm to whoever.
Yeah, of course the construction is different, but the idea is the same. And yeah, this shape is unusual, but it happens sometimes that this is the most convenient in. This is more of a cycle solve shape, because you can easily swing this around. And then here, this looks much simpler, and you can see that this is an L, and Weaver doesn't do this on purpose, because I bet this uses bonded priority at some point. Yep, and it's done. Nice job. Now this is much lighter in symbols. We went from 182 to 155, so we jumped down nearly 30 symbols, and thanks to a whole host of optimizations, some of which are here. This is a very simple way to make one output, and some others are here. This is reasonably simple, and so on. Nice. This is not terribly slow, so this is all too good, and therefore congratulations to Speedway Shampoo for his 9th place.
Take speed pass actually.
And then we have Foxadecimal at phenol input bond ++, and this is a 3. And a 3, this looks like a symbol solution. Like you just see it, these lines going back and forth, and everything is spiky and angled. This looks like a symbol solution.
Yeah, so it's what we've seen before, making the HCl plus the 2 hydrogens. But I think this is probably the best we've seen it done so far.
Yeah, definitely. And this is much lower symbols again. We have jumped down another 30 plus symbols, and we are getting into the clearly symbol solutions. Not that the ones before were not symbol solution, but like this is optimized enough that it looks like a symbol solution and not just like a solution. So we have this extra hydrogen here, and we make, okay, we have carbon dioxide. So we are making very fractionate pieces of stuff we will need. Like this is clearly a piece of nitric acid, and this is
piece of benzene.
Yeah.
But we don't send any oxygen up there, so we're going to have to make the oxygen somehow.
Yeah, so let's see this one. Yeah, and here, in fact, you have very separated pieces, so I bet doing this is not particularly hard now that you have done all this. Yeah, this is what you say, that the acids were similar, because they are.
Yeah. But everything comes in a nice order for him to use here,
Yeah.
which is quite good. That you get always comes OH, NO2, and that just works out that you just put all the pieces together to come in.
Yeah.
It might be nicer to have some bonders over the inputs here, but you got to fuse as well sometimes.
Now, what I imagine is actually harder is this, because you have no oxygen.
Yeah, that's harder. I'll take.
So how does he do that? Let's see it from the start, because I imagine he has already done it. And okay, here we go. So he brings up an HC here.
That's going to be an OH, I believe.
Yeah, he's going to fuse once, fuse twice, I guess, to get an OH.
Yeah,
clear.
And then, that's the second, that carbon that came off, or the two carbons that came off. One of them for cycle, the other one's used.
Yeah, okay. Now it works, clearly, because you have.
Now, you can just use this simple method of building two lines of CHs, basically.
Yeah, and it works because the hydrogens are on the side and doesn't interfere. Yeah. This looks optimized. So nice job.
Yeah, good balancing of how much work is done in each reactor as well, or the reactors seem to be handling a similar amount of complexity, which is not always the way to the best solutions. I find it's generally good at getting a simple down lower.
Yeah, there are some times where you have two very trivial reactors, and then one reactor where all the complexity is because you can use timing or something like this. But very often it's like you said, you want 4 reactors all equally as powerful.
I found generally the amount of complexity you have to deal with in a reactor, the amount of symbols goes up super linearly.
Yeah.
So it's best to try and split them out.
Now, GG goal, trickle down economics, I sense your matters.
I remember this one was one of the more complicated ones.
Yeah, it's GG goal, I was sure. So this is 107 symbols. We go down a good bit again, and this is this is a line, but it's line in the opposite order than we have seen. It does the most complicated stuff first instead of last, which is weird. Okay.
This is it just works reactor really.
What's he doing? Why? Why? I don't even want to know how does he use these sensors. They're all here and I bet they all do something. And how do you do this, Chichigo? How do you do this? So things are mixed, let's just say, until you get nitric acid and whatever's left, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there is a...
2 carbon dioxide, 1 ammonia, and you get those 2 things. How exactly that's done?
It's
why
not...
this works, I couldn't tell you.
things are done. Okay. I mean, of course we could analyze it, but it doesn't really matter. The thing is, you clearly want to merge this until it packs everything up, and the shape this has is a function of how convenient it is to do the exchanges. So let's see this nice F. Vf is loses the oxygen. Oh my god. This is a semi-timing loop.
Yeah. This thing is easy to chop a hydrogen off and make it that C shape. And that C shape is one part of phenol. Then the C2H2 box are the other two parts of phenol. Together they make a phenol, and if you do that alternately, you'll get, for every 4 inputs, you'll get 1 C left over and 2 oxygens left over, which are chopped off the 2 boxes that you use to make the 2 parts of phenol.
So we on, and now we have sulfuric acid. We act to sulfuric acid. We pick up the 2 oxygen together. Okay, and we attach an OH, and then the O's.
Yes. Okay. So it's the 2. You get 2 of those O's. They're easy enough, and then H is so you get O's to H's in ratio 2 to 1, which is exactly what you need.
Yeah, and then you have this as extra, but it's not an issue because you're going to have an extra pipe to throw stuff into a recycle next.
Yeah.
Okay, this looks simple. Stop jumping. Stop jumping. Okay. I mean, jokes aside, it's clear what's doing, and it fuses until it gets...
What it's doing is the first one, it doesn't have anything, so it doesn't fuse, so nothing to fuse it, it grabs it. Then it pulls it down, fuses the 2 carbons together to make element 12, whatever that is. Then bounces up and down, and every subsequent one it will fuse first, chopping up the carbons. So it'll fuse the hydrogen in, chop off the carbons. So
then after a while you get chlorine, and then by timing these you output it when red leaves it.
Yeah, and that chlorine sensor just times the output.
Yeah, and this of course is not going to be fast because we have wasted a lot of things before coming here, and we're throwing away most of the mass at this point because we throw away a lot of carbon. So this is going to take a while. Let's watch this reactor. It's not fast, but it's also not terrible, so we can watch it and say that here again we are getting into the very optimized solution realm, and I think this puzzle is slow. It's reasonably slow, but I understand that you did not make it 20 or 10 outputs because that would have just made it garbage ball city, I imagine.
Yeah, I wanted to keep at least 40, so it's not trivial to just stick everything in a long pipe or make a garbage ball.
Yeah, because a garbage ball cannot hold 120 atoms, which is usually annoying, and so you need to make less than 3 waste atoms per output. But once you lower the outputs enough, you have like 4, 5, 6, 8 mass per output of waste, and you can do whatever you want at those kind of numbers. Like if you just see stuff you can do in researches where you have just 10 outputs, and so you can put so much garbage balling around. And I see that you didn't want that to happen. Yeah. So perfect. 100 symbols. So of course, as we get close to the top, the gains reduce because it gets harder and harder to see the symbol. This is one here, and this is yet again a line. But we are starting at the bottom with the simple stuff, and we are injecting carbon just when we need it. I think resumes at this one. So
Resins are similar, but Tufel takes it a step further and actually turns this into nitric acid rather than just the swastika shape.
yeah, I see it, and it makes precise hydrogen waste. This is also compact and pretty simple. So nice job.
Yeah.
I guess we are seeing hydrochloric acid for sure. Okay, it does it the Fuse-Hammer way. Okay, pretty standard thing. And what I find it strange is that it fixes the ratio here.
The ratio, I don't think matters here, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't. It probably does it for speed, because this and these are decoupled.
Yeah, I don't. It's only putting one hydrogen down for every chlorine.
I've just no, it's true. You see, it's true. Like, look at this: magnesium, aluminium, sulfur, chlorine. One down, one up, one down, and then this one is used. So just two at the bottom. But I guess it's just easier that way. It's not ratio fixing. Then on to the next. He makes phenol here. That's hardcore. Lots of. Let's see the first one. Okay, in the first one we have a very simple blue loop that steals an oxygen. Okay, this is easy to understand.
It's not too dissimilar from other things we've seen of having these three sets of things and it's getting rid of oxygen.
Yeah, and I imagine
it's a very easy way to make this phenol to again make the line.
Yeah, and then we have blue doing the special casing. Get it? Now here it's what I imagine is oh, this still looks pretty simple. Yeah, because here you have oxygen that you split into hydrogen, right? And
yeah.
Okay, with this simple loop. Clear.
It's easy to make oxygen, sulfuric acid out of oxygen, and then you just need to use the red to make the hydrogen with special casing loop.
Yeah, because this is just one special case and you have so many sensors that doing logic is not an issue. Like having so many sensors, we are of course not analyzing sensor by sensor, but it means that whatever logic you want to implement, you kind of can. Like, this is the reason we haven't seen flip-flop messes in all these solutions, because you can place a sensor at the right place, a sensor at the right place, yeah, the name is the same, and things work, and you have two sensors here and fourth sensor here, you can make the logic you want. And yeah, this looks pretty nice, and it is reasonably fast, and at 26,000 cycles.
It's doing hydrogen grinding, but it's fast hydrogen grinding.
Yeah, this is reasonably fast. You could make it slower for sure. And even here, phenol building, it is done out of this hydrogen splitter, but not last, so you still have enough material to be fast. Oop. Congratulations for your 6th place. And now in 5th place we have Darius 1. Extra piping required.
Yeah, big long waste pipe in this one.
Big long waste pipe in this one. So we have this one with a billion piping leading here. Okay, so this is a tree leading here and here. And we have this pipe is long. So what do we do? Okay, what we do is complicated.
Well, yeah, well, it's not that complicated. It's similar to the other ones that make 2 hydrogens plus HCl, but we also put 3 H's and a nitrogen in the top as well.
Okay, I see. It's just that this top loop is complicated. I see. But otherwise, you just do all this, bring one down, and bring another one down, make hydrochloric acid. It's not just hydrochloric acid, so you have two pipes going out of this, one to infinity, and which we will see later, and another here, which makes oh my god, other intermediates. This is complicated.
It's not as complicated as it first looks. What we're similar to, I think it was the last solve we saw, that's chopped off oxygens off the CO to
Yeah,
put it in the same pipe.
the algorithm is simple, is that we have made no output yet, and so we have all the kind of simple partial products or coming along the pipe altogether. But yeah, the algorithm is understandable. Let's follow this one, which will clearly speed up. Oh, okay, this is very
If you
simple.
go back to the other one, you can see it's quite simple because what it's doing is that every time you get a vapor input at, say, hydrochloric acid, you just put it straight back, you sense that immediately, so you don't really care about the ratios of that or the timing of that coming through. That's really simply dealt with. Then to attach the oxygen to the C3H3 group, it's just blue. So blue is alternately hitting that bond one cycle after hitting the sensor, or hitting it a long time after it hits the sensor. If it hits it one cycle after, it joins that oxygen on. If it doesn't, it leaves the oxygen there and it's put in the oxygen pipe. So, and this is quite good because you need these come in 1-to-1, these CH, these C3H3 and these C3H3Os, and those are just two halves of phenol. This reactor simply joins them together, plus it does a similar trick at the bottom where every time it detects having a hydrochloric acid, just moves it over and outputs it straight away.
Yeah, this is nice. That you input whatever it is, and then you come back and retry if it was hydrochloric acid. And let's see the oxygen input, and here we have this is decoupled, right? So we have as much hydrogen as we want. Oh yeah, it's not decoupled, but it is decoupled by this pipe.
By the long pipe, yeah.
Yeah, so this is not the right ratio, but it becomes the right ratio because the pipe is long enough. And so now you have oxygen and hydrogen, and you can easily make both of these outputs. Like the bottom one is pretty standard, and the top one, I guess, here how do we make the nitrogen? That's the thing I want.
The nitrogen comes in.
It comes in, right, because this is nitrogen.
We do care about the ratio of stuff inside that pipe, so one nitrogen, 3 hydrogens.
Yeah, right.
But the ratio between the pipes.
Yeah, because this is an ammonia broken up, so it's not unrealistic to do that. Yeah, I mean, nice job. I'm not a fan of this gigantic pipe. Like, it just hurts my soul, you know. But still, this is much better than what I made, so it's fine. And this is both lower symbol and faster than TopFOT, because it scores 95 symbols and just over 20,000 cycles. We'll see it to completion, and yet this. Nice job. We get to 4th place with Team Chicxulub with what the heck does this mean? Guys, who speaks German, I guess.
It's not German. It's, you know, the movies Barbie and Oppenheimer that came out, it's just a portmanteau of those 2 words, make Barbenheimer. I'm not sure how this relates to the solution, but
I mean, I guess half is pink and the other half is black. No, I'm sad.
I can explain.
You better explain, man.
It's a 92 symbol solution. Element 92 is uranium Oppenheimer.
The Barbie come in.
It's the movie.
Element 92 is uranium. Yes, that's nice. And what is Barbie?
Barbie was a nuclear physicist too.
Okay, I see. I'm just gonna believe it. They make dolls since the 50s. I guess they made one nuclear physicist Barbie doll. And let's see what Barbie made then. There is a lot of nuclear reactors, so at least that's it. And we have a tree we have one reactor here, to here, to here. Okay, let's go on. This
So we start by making hydroxyls and oxygen and hydrogen in the bottom pipe.
This is kind of new. I don't think we've seen this yet.
Yeah, it's new, but it's fairly simple and understandable.
Yes,
Just
for now. Let's follow the hydrogen.
The hydrogen.
The hydrogen comes here, and yeah, so it comes here, gets shuffled.
Yeah. So blue is always doing the same loop, no matter what's happening.
Okay.
Red is differentiating between the two different outputs.
Yeah,
so,
one of them loses and the other one gains. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, one of them loses and then the other one gains the thing that was lost, and then the hydrogen as well.
Yeah. Now I can tell what is going to happen here pretty easily. Yeah. And this looks very low symbol for what it does, and I guess most of it has to do with this thing, which has the oxygen on the outside, because we have seen many having the oxygen inside, like being C or in line being a COH or something like this, and this looks much simple to manipulate. Yeah.
So you got just chop off the oxygen is easy. Then picking up, all red is doing is handling that.
Yeah, let's see.
You want the oxygen on there.
This is timing, okay. So
Yeah,
this
it's
is
not timing. Blue's just stalling on an input while red's going back and forward.
Yeah, but this is still grabbed on the first cycle, so I guess I imagine this is timed with this the speed of this reactor. Not that it's hard because you control the speed, but
yeah, but you don't care that much about timing here because red's never going to go off and get that blue output.
Right.
You've that hydrogen sensor there. You can move that wherever you want, and that will time the bonds.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mean that it was hard to time. I just meant that this was clearly...
The timing here is quite critical. Slow down here on the oxygen, the last oxygen. So get right here.
Ah, sorry.
Ooh.
See,
okay, right here. Red's going to go slow. Red goes up and grabs this thing. Blue is got the input. Look at that bond minus. It takes away that hydrogen.
Huh.
Red bonds that. Blue bounces. Blue uses blue's bond plus, so red doesn't have to, and drop.
Yeah, nicely done. Like what? Of course, what Jojo meant is that you can retime it very easily by doing like this, because red just does this thing. So you can find the timing that works, but this does a ton of reuse. That's for sure. And like I say that this is timed, and this is true, but also that this is not like hard timed because you are feeding stuff together. You have freedom here. But yeah, then nice job. And let's see the last one, where we have hydroxide and sulfuric acid binding.
Yeah, you can make hydroxylic acid from 2 hydroxyls and an oxygen, and if the hydroxyls and oxygens are coming in at a 1-to-1 ratio, which they are, that means, and you switch one of the hydroxyls to so you use a hydrogen from one of the hydroxyls to make hydrochloric acid. Now you've got an extra oxygen, and that works out for the ratio to make sulfuric acid.
Okay, this looks nice, small pipes, perfect ratios. Yeah, this is the solution that Jojo intended, I imagine. Let's see if the top solutions are this much as mentally satisfying. And this is one of the fastest, not the fastest, but of the top solution, this is the fastest at 18,000 cycles. Here it is. And speaking of fast solutions, before we go to the top 3, I would like to get to the only fun solve we have, if you agree, Jojo, because it seems appropriate. So now, which is this one, which is by you, and this of course is not scoring, and
yeah. So this is my one. You can take a pretty quick look at this, more just to show how I sort of intended the puzzle to be done. This is
this is a tree, and we make hydrochloric acid here, and we throw away some ammonia subproducts. Yeah, and then with this we build.
Yeah,
Okay.
we build like these CH cubes, and we put some oxygen through there. We put enough oxygen through there to make it's more about getting the ratios right for the bottom reactor than the top reactor, because
Okay.
what I wanted to encourage / force was putting a lot of stuff down the same pipes, and I think my solution does that more than basically any of the ones I've seen.
There's a lot of pieces that come out, and of course you want them to be precise, so you dump all the extra oxygens out on this pipe.
Extra oxygen is dumped out there.
Yeah.
And then and so it's very easy once you've got these pieces to make the phenol. It's just too hard to stick them together.
How do you make the... Oh yeah, right. You split down and you bring it in. And here we have all the pieces that pack up, I guess. Yeah. Things work out.
This is where you get all these weird pieces. So you get an ammonia basically, plus you get something like 8 oxygens. Or how many will it be? It would be 2, 6, 8, 9.
In any case, you pack things together. And this would have been 9th place, but it's also the fastest solution we have, clocking in at 8,000 cycles. So, wanted to show this now because we are going to see very slow voice now. Because in this game, a good Zectronics game has anti-correlated metrics, and we asked for symbols. And symbols is going to be anti-correlated to cycles. So we have essentially the same layout as as your solution, and no, not your solution, but we've seen this already many times. This is a line with both inputs entering, and okay, what's here? Oh, this is not so bad. We make hydrochloric acid from the top from ammonia. This is a classic. And then on the bottom we make those L things.
Yeah, so the 2 hydrogens that normally come off the hydrochloric acid making are put onto the carbon dioxide inside the first reactor. So it's pretty similar to what we've seen before, but just that extra step.
Yeah, this is very compact. Then we have what? Oh god. So we bring one there, we come back, we attach 2 together, and then we split off another piece, and this is nitric acid. I have no idea how this is nitric acid, but it's nitric acid.
Yes, well, what you've got at the beginning looks quite a lot like nitric acid.
I mean,
you've got carbon instead of a nitrogen, which you just need to fuse a hydrogen into.
I mean, everything looks like nitric acid if you squint your eyes enough. Like it's a lot of oxygen and five atoms, and there is a lot of oxygen in this puzzle. But yeah, with this simple loop, he does nitric acid, and then he has the rest here, where he, oh god, what's he doing?
We are using the top. So when you get those L-shaped pieces, you use the top oxygen as the single.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, the single oxygens that you need to make sulfuric acid, and then use the bottom ones, the hydroxyls, to make to be hydroxyl and sulfuric acid.
Yeah,
That's basically how it works.
I get it. essentially you build everything out of big Ls piece by piece.
Yeah, because
And
the E double rondo I just pass straight through, and you get some of the bottom halves that you don't need because you need a lot more of the single ones than you do the single oxygens, and you do the hydroxyls, so you need 2 hydroxyls, but you need 4.
In any case, you don't really care. You don't really care about the ratio going forward because you're going to have an extra pipe to throw stuff out, which is okay. This looks very simple, and again, it's because of this shape, I imagine, that is easy to manipulate here.
That shape's easy to manipulate, and you only use that shape. Everything else is thrown away.
Yeah. Nice.
So
nice.
you see that oxygen sensor in the bottom right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that throws everything that's not that shape away.
Yeah, this is a classic grab, drop, and back sensor. Nice that you can distinguish everything with this sensor.
Yeah, and then that carbon sensor in the bottom left is quite clever. That's actually what special cases the hydroxyl group on phenol.
Let's see here. Let's see it in action.
Not yet.
Oh, it doesn't rotate. Okay, but because you have so many sensors, you can do the right thing regardless. So this is very nice. And here it works. And
you pick it up.
Nice.
And
nice.
Yeah. It's not rotated to hit the bond minus, so it all stays together and just slots on nicely.
Yeah. This is really nice. And this is very good solution. It's simple. You see the use of most reactors are dumb Waldo, smart Waldo, the way I call it, where you have one Waldo doing most of the clever work and another Waldo doing some simple loops or hammering a symbol. So this is the hallmark of a well optimized symbol solution for sure. And, nice job, Dariush. And this is 61,000 cycles. So we are going to believe it is, because it will take too much to run. And now we go to...
We're throwing away a huge amount of mass as we go along, and phenol's the most massive thing, and the last thing made, it's thrown away too much.
Now we get to Andy, and Andy does a 3-reactor solution. I didn't even think this was realistic. And
no. Yeah, when I was originally designing the puzzle, I had an idea to make a 3-reactor puzzle with 4 output to really to make output pipes a struggle. But then when I came up with these atoms, I thought this is much better for 4 reactors. I'm not going to make them do 3 reactors with this. It won't be interesting or fun. But Andy finds it's actually good. I'm not sure if it's good.
If you had just incentivized the 3 reactors a little bit, Andy would have won, and we will see it in a moment why. So here, this is something we have seen already: hydrochloric acid out of ammonia, and extra hydrogen thrown out.
This is a very simple way of doing it. No rotates at all.
This is the best way to do it we have seen, I think. And on top of that, both hydrogen get put into the same spot, which you cannot say for every solution. So,
and I wouldn't be surprised if this was the best way to do it.
Then we have this reactor, which does phenol.
Does phenol on hydrogen.
He does phenol out of hydrogen. This is fucking crazy. What is blue doing?
What we're doing is we have a central loop that makes, as before, the C3H3s. So first we store on the sensor waiting for hydrogen, then we store on the sensor waiting for carbon. And we do that 3 times.
Okay, and then I guess when we trigger this one, we will do something different, right? So we can have oxygen.
Yeah. So we grab sense in the bottom right, in the right one, or not bottom right, like middle right. So on the rightmost left,
it's not here.
There's a grab that's only.
Okay, after all this run, we ended up here and we're making oxygen.
Yeah. So
Great.
how we actually got there is that we,
Yeah, just give me a moment.
Yeah, you need.
Okay, no.
It's better if you put it at the bottom.
Here.
Just. Yeah, but you don't. Sure. That how we get there is that we sent that hydrogen in the top.
This I get.
Right.
It's because we get here once every 3 carbons, and then we run around and we have this flip flop here. So it's clear.
Well, we hit that flip flop every time. What? Yeah. So when we hit that flip flop, we hit that hydrogen, and that's the hydrogen that's on the sensor right now in the top right.
Yeah.
Then
we wait here for oxygen, and then we do the normal loop where we are going to make CH.
Yeah, and this time we don't hit the flip flop, so we don't go back and continually make oxygen. That's basically what that flip flop is doing.
And the way this is done is that we are going to bond into this, right? So we will bond into the oxygen, pull one down, and make exactly what we need. If we read this, yeah, exactly.
We pull the oxygen down. Then we're going to put the carbon in.
Yeah,
and then we put the hydrogen on.
It will get attached, I imagine, somehow. Let's wait a moment. Okay. We pull it just up.
And then that hydrogen at the bottom there does it. You don't hit that carbon when you're the first time you make half the shape. The first time you make CH3, the C3H3, you don't hit that carbon sensor, so you just go straight on, do the rotates, and drop again.
Okay, so let me remove this pause. Of course, this is optionally slow.
Yeah. And then actually, I think every 2 times you go around the loop, you put the hydrogen through into the next reactor.
Okay. And so we are using this hydrogen to make
neon.
Neon? This is not slow at all. It's very fast. My fucking...
So, from the neon, we fuse in the carbon to get and that gives you straight away the SO2, which is most of sulfuric acid. Then you can fuse up top, fuse hydrogens up to oxygen, and join the oxygens on. Then you fuse hydrogen, or you don't fuse it, you just take the hydrogen and join that on, and you've got sulfuric acid. Then you can do the same, but instead of going to neon, you just go to hydrogen. So hydrogen plus carbon is nitrogen from nitric acid, and then you can do a similar loop, but because of how the flip-flops work, you don't go around it twice, you only go around it once, so you only attach one hydroxyl group.
What the heck?
And then,
Andy, please submit sooner. Andy, please.
Andy was good this time. It wasn't too late. I had time to look at it.
No, I did not see it when I checked them yesterday, I think.
It was still today, but it wasn't 3 minutes before the deadline.
Oh yeah, thank you, Andy. We appreciate this. And you would expect this to be the winner in typical Andy fashion, and 84 symbols did win, but because the tiebreaker is cycles and it's not reactors, we have a different first place solution. This solution clocks in at over 600,000 cycles, so you guys just believe it, it runs to completion. But the winner is Zig with an 84 symbol solution, but it's a ton faster and uses 4 reactors. And this is a box.
So it really needs a long pipe to make it work.
Yeah, because this feeds into each other, And so we have seen this already, where this puts out hydrogen, but it puts out too many hydrogens related to how many nitrogen it does. So this is just making fractions of things.
This is some bit of hydrogen
And
going up. So the small bits of hydrogen, so the NH is passed straight across, the rest of it is turned into hydrogen sulfides and hydrochloric acids.
okay.
And those have the same atomic weight, and it's just how you fuse them. You fuse the hydrogen in.
This does a ton of work with just this loop. Ton of work. And then
the hydrogen sulfide and the hydrochloric acid is just a different sort of hydrogen being fused in or not.
Then here we have a phenol building, which is done. Okay, we've seen this already.
Yeah, we've seen lots of good solutions to this. Chop the oxygens off the.
You know, I think we have seen simpler ways to do this. Am I wrong? Like, this is, of course, is terribly complex because of this timing loop. This sounds atrocious.
Timing loops like that don't bounce back and forth over 2 symbols every cycle. Every 2 cycles are always a nightmare to time. So this must have taken some time to get working.
Yeah. I'm not sure if this is the lowest symbols reactor of this type we have seen, because many people do this exact process, carbon dioxide and nitrogen into oxygen and phenol, and I'm not sure this is the best. And but this is still terribly impressive because of this timing loop here. Gigantic. And then here we have oxygen, and we've seen this already. You pack oxygen together and get.
Yeah, but well, not really, because
no, the inputs are different, right? You have like pre-prepared pieces, and you just build acids. Let me say the other way around, and
so these pieces are very easy to turn into these 2 acids by the same method. So I think this is really where this solution wins around.
Yeah,
it's having these 2 really simple things. It's so easy to turn into the right pieces.
Yeah, definitely. I agree on this, and yeah, even if say this is a bit too complex, having done all the work before in this very simple reactor lets you pack them together easy. And I just said that this is not going to run forever, because you see this waste is accumulating. And let you see it run to completion, because this is fast. This is just 22,000 cycles, which is much better than many other solutions we have seen already. And here we go. Congratulations again, Zig, for your well-deserved first place.
Well done.
We have seen the fast solution, the fun solution already, because we just had the non-scoring solution by Giorgio, and so I think it's all for this puzzle.
Yeah, that's.
Do you want to talk about the next puzzle?
Briefly, do you have it up?
Sure. Just a moment. I try not to have future puzzles here, because I risk showing stuff that is true into the future, but I always keep them around. So take it on.
This puzzle is it's about making this cozy quilt out of the fabric cuts, and in that reactor, in the only reactor you have, the super assembly reactor, you have just bond pluses. You don't, those bonders can't debond. So you've got to fit the input atoms together to make the output without breaking them apart at all. They're also random in a ratio, so 2 to 2 to 1.
Yeah. Be careful, it's not really 2 to 2 to 1, it's 4 to 4 to 2. It matters.
4 to 4 to 2 by the bag size.
Yeah.
And so you've got this weird reactor with a backpipe in it. But the puzzle lore or puzzle flavor text alluded to it, but that's really to stop you getting around how I want the puzzle to be solved. Ideally, it's supposed to be one reactor. Reactor cycle. Darius and other people were complaining because they wanted the reactor penalty to be lower, so you had the illusion of choice. But I set it so high so you wouldn't. I didn't want there to be an illusion of choice. And that was, I guess, an aesthetic choice by me, that I thought this is one reactor cycles. You're intended to do it in one reactor, but I think if you want to solve the puzzle, I give you the option to use more.
Yeah, like if you want to try something, you can put the reactor here to, like, you know, rejigger these pieces and just program here what you want to program, and then you can take this out and merge the two. And I find this nicer than just, you know, forbidding extra reactors. And for some required viewing on assembling puzzle, we had something of a technical demo in 2021 called Tetris, which did something like this. And I maintain that Tetris was better, but that because I made it.
It is a more complicated puzzle, and it has a slightly different emphasis. This is more about the one reactor aspect.
Yeah.
Tetris had a more complex thing together.
Yeah, Tetris was about going fast, and this is about the real required watching for this is Rep Chemistry of 2013 SpaceChem tournament, which is where people discovered the bag. Like for Rep Chemistry, which was similar to this, people discovered that the inputs came in bag of 12, and of course for the Rep Chemistry rerun we got away with a bag that is not 12. And of course some people asked how we can make bags of not 12, and this is something you can make even in vanilla by purposefully editing a puzzle definition. And if someone is interested in understanding how, it's something we can easily explain in the Discord.
Yeah, I think I gave a short explanation of that earlier.
Yeah.
So you can check that.
So I think it's all for this week. Thank you everyone for participating. I invite Zig and Andy to share their own thoughts, because you know the metric is so that Zig got first place, but their score is indistinguishable up to the third digit. I think it's different in like the fifth digit. Andy has a 9.99999, and so they are essentially tied for first place. And so I invite them both to share their thought process and their progress to their solution. And I especially want to know if Andy tried the 4-reactor solution and why he discarded it. And
hydrogen grinding definitely wouldn't have been my intuition for this puzzle. Anyway, maybe if you
yeah, you know, it looks too complex for 2 reactors, but they are so close that I'm not really sure. But I think that if I had to bet which solution was improvable, it's Zig's and not Andy's. Like if this was a ResearchNet puzzle, I bet community optimization would get Zig's to say 80, but Andy's would not go below 83 or so.
Yeah, Zig has someone reactor that looks more complicated. I know symbol solutions sometimes look complicated when they're actually lower symbols.
Yeah, that one reactor was pretty complicated, and I'm pretty sure it could probably go down to like 82 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, everything else on every other reactor in that pipe layout ended up being super simple, so I was pretty happy.
Yeah, all the other reactors look almost maxed out, aren't they?
Yeah, like 2 of them were provably optimal at some point, and I really jigged one of them to make the 100 very easier.
Okay, so it's all for this week. Goodbye to everyone, and see you all next week for the reveal of Cozy Quilt. Goodbye.